Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. All right, welcome in. Today, we're going to talk about why you should start drinking more diet soda. Now, if you're not a soda drinker, you don't like pop, this episode probably isn't going to benefit you much, right? But the purpose of this discussion is really to kind of highlight maybe some of the misconceptions around diet soda. There's maybe a belief, and maybe you hold it too, about how diet soda is actually worse for you than regular soda because it tricks your body into all this, and you're getting certain things. And to put it simply, that it's just not true. There's been tons of research on this. When you have both right by each other, regular soda, diet soda, the diet soda is going to be the better alternative. Now, that doesn't mean that it has no negative side effects, right? Obviously, some of them sometimes they can have aspartame in them and things like that, and that could potentially give some people a headache. I know for myself, if I have too many diet sodas, then I get kind of a headache and get a little irritable. But that also could be caffeine content, could be dehydrated, could be lots of things, right? And so everybody's response is going to be different. But if you are somebody who maybe has struggled to lose weight, you're a regular soda drinker, then diet soda is honestly going to be a great choice for you. Because when you compare the two side to side, one, regular soda is going to have obviously more calories, right? Diet soda virtually has no calories. Now, there are a few calories in it, but it's not significant. So let's just compare Coke and Diet Coke. And so Coke itself has, a 12-ounce can is going to be 140 calories, right? And a diet soda is going to have almost none. And so if you're drinking 3 Cokes a day, that's pure sugar, no nutrition, right? But that's also almost 500 calories, over 400 calories of no nutrition of just Coke, right? And so obviously switching from Coke to Diet Coke is going to play a huge difference in weight loss, right? Now, just for overall health as well, it can make a difference. One, if you're somebody who maybe drinks a ton of caffeine or something, diet sodas tend to have less, not necessarily, some of them still have a decent amount of caffeine in them, but think of like energy drinks, right? A regular energy drink, you're going to get lots of sugar, lots of caffeine, and very little nutrition, right? Now, obviously, energy drinks have things like B vitamins and stuff like that, but a sugar-free energy drink is going to have, lots of caffeine, some vitamins, and then almost no calories. And so comparing the two side by side, the sugar-free alternative is going to be more beneficial. Now, when it comes to weight loss, this can be a really simple switch. This can be something that could make a huge difference without having to drastically change your life. A lot of times what happens is when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to get into a calorie deficit, you try and change too many things at once, right? If you've ate in a certain way for a really long time, or you regularly have, certain foods, then cutting them all out probably is going to work for a little while, but it's not going to work long term, right? That's why, with my clients, I work on, including your favorite foods. Like, how can we include the things you actually enjoy in a smart way, right? And so switching something from regular soda to diet soda can be kind of, the entry point, maybe the gateway there to some healthier alternatives, right? And so let's say, you are trying to get into a calorie deficit. You're trying to lose a pound a week. Now, from what we know, 1 pound is about 3,500 calories. So simple math says we take 3,500 calories, divide that by 7, the number of days in the week. that's 500 calories a day. So if you're drinking 3 sodas a day, 140 calories, you cut out your regular soda, swap that for diet soda, what's going to happen? That's all of a sudden a 400 plus calorie deficit, and you don't have to make many other choices. And for some people, this can lead to really big results, right? So that's almost a pound a week right there. You stretch this out to a year, that's 50 pounds. Now, assuming nothing else changes, right? Your nutrition staying the same, you could lose 50 pounds in a year simply from switching from regular soda to diet soda. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't drink soda, you're already drinking diet soda, then obviously you're going to have to cut something else out. But for a lot of people, soda can be a sticking point, right? It tastes good. It gives you one, if you're not a coffee drinker, soda could be the way you're getting your caffeine. You would like the caffeine, the extra boost in the morning. That's fine, right? It's okay to have these things in moderation, right? But, if you start drinking, 3, 4, 5, 6 sodas, it seems like, I'm not going to drink 6 in a day, but it could very easily happen, right? You're working at your desk. You just open up another one, right? A 12 pack of pop soda, it isn't that expensive, so it's not unheard of to go through a few of these a week, right? And unfortunately, that's very common for a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying you should just drink diet soda all the time, right? Obviously, we want to include some healthier options, right? Obviously, if all we drink was water, that'd probably be ideal, but that's not realistic, right? We can argue all day long. We can talk all day long about what's optimal, about what's best for overall health, but it takes the human experience out of the equation, right? We are human. We have things we enjoy. We have things we want, right? My wife, she bakes cookies. She sells them. She has her own cookie business, right? I'm a fitness and nutrition coach. So how do those two pair together, right? Moderation, right? I'm enjoying these things in small amounts, right? When she bakes cookies, I don't immediately go eat an entire batch, right? I have 1 or 2 here and there, and I don't do it every single day, right? And so I'm including them in because I enjoy them, right? Are they giving me much nutrition benefit? No. But I enjoy them. My wife likes to make them, right? And that's okay, right? Pizza. We order pizza once a week with my family, right? My wife and our kids, we do pizza night once a week. Why? Because it helps everything else. It helps you stick to, the 80-20 principle, right? 80% of the time, we're eating, lean meats, fruits, vegetables, things like that. 20% of the time, we're having more fun foods. We like to call them, with my kids, we call them sometimes foods, right? And it makes it much easier to stick to the 80% long term, right? Because I know for breakfast, I'm going to be dialed in. Lunch, I'm going to be dialed in. Dinner, it could kind of go either way, right? If I'm cooking, I have more say over. If my wife's cooking, she obviously has different meals she likes to cook, and I'm not gonna have her make sure to weigh this out and things like that. Now obviously if I have a certain goal I'm working towards, maybe I will be a little bit more strict, but for dinner I just try and focus on eating slowly, eating until satisfied, and just enjoying the time with my family, right? But there are days in the week we plan to go out to eat because I enjoy it. I like going out to eat. I like going to restaurants. I love cheeseburgers, right? But I know I can't have those all the time. And so something you can do if you love soda, swap it for a diet soda, right? If that's your sticking point, right? And maybe you're drinking 3, 4, 5 sodas a day right now. You don't have to switch from 5 sodas to 5 diet sodas right away, right? You could potentially do 2 sodas and 3 diet sodas, and then eventually just do 1 soda and 3 diet sodas, right? Cutting back on the number and cutting back on, the ratio of regular to diet, right? You don't have to do it right away. Even if you just cut out 2 of those, maybe you changed it with something like a seltzer water. You're still getting that carbonation. I know for me, I really like carbonation, right? I used to drink, and I still drink energy drinks, but I used to drink a lot more than I probably should have. And what I found is that I actually really like the carbonation. So I drink a lot of seltzer water, and that seems to work well for me. I do enjoy diet soda occasionally, not as much as I used to, but every once in a while, it tastes good, and I will drink that, and it helps, especially if you're trying to lose weight, right? It can be something that one kind of scratches that itch a little bit. You're craving a soda, or you're craving maybe a sugary beverage or something. Drinking a diet soda can help with that, right? And you're not getting those added calories, and if you're somebody who does enjoy seltzer water, I just buy store brand seltzer water. That can help as well. I really enjoy seltzer water. I know other people don't, and that's okay. And so that's something I use. It's simply just carbonated water, and so it has no calories, right? It's still hydrating you, but if simple things like this, and you can talk about coffee too. If you're putting sugar in your coffee, that's added calories. If hopefully you're not putting a cup of sugar in your coffee, right? If you're just putting like a teaspoon here and there of sugar, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But once you start adding all the creamer and all those things like that, adding a sugar-free creamer, adding in like a sweetener, like stevia or something, can be very helpful, right? And so diet soda has kind of been made out to be kind of the villain, right? There's a lot of misinformation on diet soda, and to be honest, most of it is not true. Diet soda, I won't tell you that diet soda is healthy for you. I won't tell you that diet soda is better than water. We both know that's not true, right? Obviously, water is going to be better, but instead of looking at food as either good or bad, just look at it, on a continuum, right? We have some foods that are more nutritious for us, some foods that are less nutritious for us. And so if we can swap some of those foods that are less nutritious for us for some that are more nutritious for us, then we're going to be on the right path. So if you're struggling, diet soda is something that you've kind of been hesitant about switching over to, but you drink regular soda fairly often, then swapping a couple of those for a diet soda here and there could lead to bigger changes than you realize over time. That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.